I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, if you turned your television sets off at 31 for 5 when KKR were chasing a mountainous 221, well, you missed quite a bit of it, because eventually it was CSK who won by a slender 20-run margin. We'll break it up for you guys if you missed it on here, cricket.com. Yes, here Mark Butcher and another Rolling Stones hit, Butch, with CSK coming up trumps once again.
Mate, it's only rock and roll, but I like it. Oh, wow. I mean, what a performance from them again. And KKR, thankfully, losing the game, but not losing it as badly as they did against RCB means that their already bad net run rate hasn't taken another massive dive. But, you could be forgiven for disappearing off and having some dinner at 31 for 5 and missing the whole mayhem that ensued afterwards. What a game that was.
Yeah, unfortunately, the WrestleMania wasn't seen by me, but I'm sure most of you guys got it back home. But we'll just reflect, of course, the scorecard right now, as you can see. And, yeah, don't rub your eyes. It was Pat Cummins who top scored for KKR there. He went for an expensive day out in terms of the ball, and none for 58, but he provided with a bat, all right, eventually running out of partners, and KKR's dream went up in real smoke, really. Butch, where did KKR lose the game? Was it with the bat in hand? Because Deepak Chahar once again was simply sensational.
Yeah, stunning performance from him. And you watch him bowl and you think, well, why is it so special? Why is he getting people out on such a regular basis? He does a lot of basic things very well, doesn't he? Doesn't change things about too much. Isn't afraid to go full. I think that's really important with the new ball. A little bit like Bhuvaneshwar Kumar when he's at his very best. He's not afraid to get the ball up there at batsmen who are trying to sort of use leverage to smash you out of the park. So, they lost it in both power plays, really, not being able to get rid of Gaikwad. I mean, what a performance from him. Go back a couple of days, talking about sort of Dhoni making a decision about a player and sticking with it, not sort of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It would have been very tempting, I think, to have left Gaikwad out. But he provided a bit of a spark, and Faf du Plessis then finished the whole thing off with very nearly making his first 100 in the IPL. So the power play with the ball wasn't great. Cummins didn't have his best day. And then, of course, power play with the bat was an absolute disaster. 31 for 5. The cream of sort of your top order batting all back in the pavilion. Plus Narayan, obviously, who went in there. That's weird, isn't it? That role for Sunil Narayan. Well, I mean, I can understand why you would open with him, because he either gets you off to a flyer, absolute flyer in no balls whatsoever, or if he doesn't get any, he's only in there for 1 or 2 balls anyhow. So you hardly lose anything with him at the top of the order. Putting him in there in the middle when you're expecting somebody to kind of build an innings and take you through to the end, I don't get that at all. We'll have to ask Owen about that one. But anyway, Chahar, superb. KKR should have been out of it. And then, of course, Dinesh Karthik, Andre Russell, and at the end there, Cummins almost pulling off the biggest heist since the Great Train Robbery.
No, absolutely. I think Narayan and Shaki were, of course, a like-for-like swap. It was actually pretty much like that, Butch. So I completely resonate your thoughts over there. Let's, of course, move on to the Criclytics Man vs. Machine predictions, because you've, of course, summed up the game completely. I don't need to ask you any of my questions, so we can keep it short and sweet today. But let me also inform you that you have now, of course, level the scores with Criclytics. How do you feel about that? In fact, overtaken them is what my producer tells me.
I've gone past them, have I? Well, you can't keep a good man down. That's all I've got to say.
Yeah, you lead 10-9 right now, so you won 3-1 in the night. We'll, of course, uncover all the predictions that you made. Batsmen first up, he went from the Trish Rana. It wasn't his day out. So did Criclytics, so it was still 0-0 at this stage. We can skip past the batsmen, move into the real match winners, so to speak, because that one, Deepak Chahar, 4 for 29, he's done it again. Just tell me how impressive you are in terms of how he bowls in the power play, because 74% of his wickets are right there. Do you think he's the best, perhaps, in the business right now?
Well, he is in this year's IPL, that's for sure. I mean, I mentioned Bhuvi before. There are some high-quality bowlers in the power play who keep things very, very simple. And Chahar's one of those. He'll have his day where somebody tags him for sure, but at the moment, he really has got himself dialed in and is a wicket-taking machine up at the top. Why I didn't pick him, I will never know.
Yeah, but you did pick Andre Russell, who was your all-rounder. Now he, of course, pipped Moeen Ali, who was back by Criclytics. Andre Russell 1 for 27 in his 2 overs, but he did the damage to the bat. But what a delivery by Sam Curran. What a celebration to send the big man off.
Well, yeah, I mean that even though Sam Curran's figures at the end looked utterly disastrous, this is the argument I always have with people who say, oh, you know, there's nothing in the game for the bowlers. One delivery or one dismissal, even though he's gone for what did he go for, 60 and 4 or something like that, Sam Curran, that wicket is worth the game. You know, so you have to be very careful about the way you calibrate what a bowler's figures look like. Yes, he got smashed, but if he hadn't have got rid of Andre Russell, extraordinary dismissal, allowing the ball past him behind his legs, then perhaps we wouldn't be sitting here with Chennai Super Kings racking up another win. So that's just, you know, bowlers' importance cannot be overestimated in T20 cricket. People will go on all they like about, oh, you know, it's not fair. The bowlers win your games, and that wicket was probably a match-winning one.
Yeah, and that point was a match-winning one in your regard with Criclytics Man versus Machine, because Russell, of course, made it 1-1, and then you went 2-1 up because you had Dinesh Karthik in the reckoning in terms of your predictions, and he scored 40, but he got a stumping too. Dhoni, it was 17 of 7 or 18 of 7, something like that, with 3 catches.
Yeah.
So was it good enough to outdo DK? So that meant you went 2-1 up.
Yeah, 2-1 up, and then I get another one for the result, I guess.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, you know, it's all good. I'm warming up. You know, we've still got a few of these to go, so there's plenty of room for it all to go horribly wrong. But at the moment, I'm feeling justifiably smug back here in my recording cabin in South Croydon.
Yeah, I generally think that Criclytics has a couple of tricks up its sleeve. There are a couple of tricky games to call, Thursday, Friday, and a couple, of course, on Saturday and Sunday as well. So hopefully that lead remains intact. But let me know about CSK and whether their position right now on the points table will remain intact. They've, of course, done the job once again today. They're really turning back the clock, aren't they, Butch?
They are, yeah. I have to take my hat off to them. And, you know, the selection of Ngidi was an inspired one tonight, and the change of conditions at the Wankhede. He picked up 3 wickets and looked pretty good, actually. Managed to get the Yorker in there, pace was up. And so at the moment, you know, MS Stoney and the old firm of himself and Flem seem to have everything under control, don't they? So, look, it will take... KKR have got some serious problems. They really do. Because it doesn't matter how many great names or big players they have in that lineup, they just cannot seem to pull together a team performance. They're always looking for somebody, one player or 2 players, to do something miraculous. And you're not going to win it. You're not going to win a whole tournament or a whole league plus knockout games in that fashion. In the league, you have to be a bit more consistent than that. Yeah, you can have wild card performances to get you through to a final and win you a final. But if you're looking to rack up points to get into a top 4, you need to be more consistent than they're managing at the moment.
Yeah, we'll wait and watch what happens, because you had, of course, KKR in your playoff predictions, and it might, of course, be early days, but let's see how they get about things. And Chennai, well, they take on Royal Challengers Bangalore next in I think a Super Sunday clash, so that's something to look forward to. Butch, it's been, of course, great to have you yet again and to just dissect the IPL games for us back in, like you said, South Croydon, and hope you're well, and we'll see you in the next one. That was Mark Butcher, and I'll tell you what, he must be a chuffed man, all right, because he went down in terms of the Criclytics predictions, but he's fast catching up. In fact, he's even surpassed the Machine. Only time will tell who'll win this ultimate battle of man vs. machine here on cricket.com.